Who Watches the Rewatchers, a Buffy rewatch podcast. I haven't found it yet, but I will admit to you very candidly that I spent exactly 10 minutes looking for it the other day, and I have not had time to get back to it. So let me look some more. Oh, wait. Let me go ahead and talk. I can hear you in my headphone, but I need to close the door. I can listen. I can. Good. All right. Well, what you gonna do? Oh yeah, sure.
This episode is all about a love spell, a love potion, which seems to be like a trope that you see in fiction of different kinds, right?
Yeah, sure.
And it seems sort of silly and ridiculous, except for I started thinking about this morning about how we sort of really buy into it, at least at certain ages of our life. And I remember in the 1990s when this show took place, reading some stupid half-baked idea and some stupid half-baked magazine about relationships and getting people to be attracted to you, that if men ate celery sticks, it somehow released a pheromone in their breath that was totally undetectable, except for that somehow women would be more naturally interested in those men. Now, I have told people, and especially I pulled that kind of thinking out at little gatherings and parties around the tables with the carrots and the tomatoes and the celery sticks. And I would tell people that, and we would all laugh at how it sounded like junk science and woo-woo silliness. And
Sure.
then I would start noticing throughout the rest of the evening, guys would kind of secretly or quietly, sheepishly even, sneak over and grab a piece of celery. Can you believe that?
No.
It's so
That's
true.
hilarious.
It's
That's
so
hilarious.
true. But think about how often it was that you would see magazines and cosmopolitan articles or whatever in the newsstands and talking about how to attract somebody. So whether
Sure.
or not we believe in magic like this show or not, I think we sort of kind of hope that there's some sort of way to put a love spell on somebody. Anyway, we're talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We're Who Watches the Rewatchers, our Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast. I'm Jarrod. I'm with Alan. And if you're listening to us right now, we must be on season 2, episode 16. What's this one called? It's got a great alliterative title. Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered.
That's right.
Yeah, what'd you think about this one?
You know, I enjoy this one because it's because of the Xander centric thing. Like they generally do at least one Xander centric episode every season. I think this is the one for this season. Although we had an earlier one. Was Inca Mummy Girl this season? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a couple this season, and the Xander episodes are usually this. They do deviate from this format. They're about him trying to find love. They do deviate from that format in a future episode that I found, really, really enchanting. We'll talk about it when we get to the Zeppo. But the whole Xander trying to find love and it going very, very badly for him all the time is such a fun story concept, especially in these first few seasons, that it sets up so many great jokes for future seasons about Xander and all those sorts of things, so how can you not like it?
Well, I will agree with you that it is fun, and a Xander-centric episode's fun. It's definitely a comedy. However, I didn't like it very much, and I think
Oh, okay.
and I
Cool.
just think it's a lot of pacing stuff. I think there's
Okay.
the way to get some of the plot to work, you have to cram things in, make things a bit clunky at times, and there's
Sure.
just a lot of, and I watched it with the subtitles on too. So I was really reading the fast-paced dialogue. And there's something I was going to start this episode by making a 90s reference, about 90s sitcom or teenage dramedies.
Sure.
I, I heard Xander talk to Buffy when she's under the enchantment or somebody, and he talks about teen sexuality. He's referencing
Sure.
teenage sexuality, like that language, as he's talking as a teenager to a teenager about
Right.
sexuality. And it just is like,
That
ugh.
rings
When I
royalty false. Yeah.
in the 1990s, you would hear this on Dawson's Creek and Buffy, and any time that where teens were self-aware, they would talk about their teen angstiness and teen sexuality. And I remember watching it as a teen thinking, we don't talk like that. So
Yeah.
that
Sure.
kind of thing drove me a little nuts. But mostly it was like it was sort of pacing. It was like we're cramming things
Sure.
in,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
sort of making the I thought some character stuff. So to say it's implausible, when I say it's implausible, I am not referring to magic and vampires and spells. I'm talking about the way in which certain characters would typically act. I think sometimes it's
Sure.
like, okay, come on, Giles, you're not that dim-witted. You're brilliant. So, so there's
What's
stuff like
going
that
on?
that just
Yeah.
kind of bugged me. But to your point, it is a very funny episode that does a lot with Xander, and it's always good because he is the beating heart of the Scoobies, and that's always a delight. So
So
anyway,
let me tell you one thing about this episode that did in fact bother me, because even I had fun with it. I thought that it was funny.
yeah, it's
Um,
funny. That's funny, very
honestly,
funny.
the final scene with Cordelia, which we'll talk about when we get there, I was all invested in it. I thought it was fantastic. We'll get there when we get there. Um, but but I got to tell a short story about something in my own life in order to tell you what my problem with this episode is. So a few weeks ago, um, an author that I do some illustration work for named Matt Dinian. He writes a series of books called about it's a Godzilla spoof thing he does called Atomic Rex. Um, and he invited me to do a Zoom conference with him because he was going to do like a thing for a high school on the subject of how to write and draw comics, right? And he was like, I got the writing thing down, but I have no idea how to talk about the drawing. Will you jump on this thing with me? And so I did. And when I got off the horn with them, one of the students got my email address from the teacher and asked me to do a an interview with her and some other students because they were making a documentary for class on the subject of um, hypersexuality in female superheroes.
Mm.
And so I agreed to the interview, did the interview last week. And what I did not understand was that these girls were in middle school, right? They were
Oh,
12 years old talking to me about hypersexuality and in female
yes.
superheroes. And so it was I had to really think through how to say things carefully and politically and in a way that wasn't um causing more problems, you know?
Mm.
Um, anyway, I'm telling you all this to say that I cited Buffy in that as a great example of, uh, teenagers being portrayed without hypersexuality. And then I watched this episode.
Right.
Right.
Right. Well, not always, right? So it does. I did think about how Buffy was portrayed here, and I thought actually it's kind of unique to the narrative.
Hmm.
So it's
It
not
is.
like it's not all the time.
No, no,
It's
not at
certainly
all.
not, and I can't even think off the top of my head, but there are certain other actresses and characters that were almost like always thrown into the bedroom, always thrown into
Sure.
the disrobing sort of thing. But well, I think there's more questions I have for you about that interview, but we should probably dive
Talk
in.
about Buffy. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So here's the thing about it. In the cold open, we find out that it is Valentine's Day coming up, right? But
Yes.
we start off in the cemetery, which is where we often start Buffy. Uh Xander is out with Buffy. You just get the sense that in their friendship, when you want to hang with Buffy, sometimes that means you're gonna have to go visit her when she's in the cemetery patrolling. And
Sure.
like so he's gone to the mall and now he's like shown up. Like that's what it feels like. And they're chatting and he bought something for Cordelia for Valentine's Day. What is it? Like a heart necklace?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
a charm. I think it's a little nicer than that cross that Angel gave her, personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like it's from the same store as that nice little Irish ring.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he got it from James Avery instead of Hot Topic, right, or whatever.
yeah, that's right. So, I think Buffy's kinda letting him know that she still doesn't get Cordy and him, and this is already where I start feeling a bit woozy because Xander is I mean, he's all in. Like, he's like, "Look," I mean, he's into Cordelia. That's really true, but he's also saying, "Well, present company excluded." Like, "If you liked me, Buffy, I wouldn't be with her." And it's just so cringy to me. It's like, if you're gonna be into somebody
Yeah.
else, maybe you need to leave that at the door, and maybe at this point in your friendship, you've already left that at the door. At least you just don't bring it up. You know what I mean? Just
No, no,
ugh.
I totally agree with you, but see, I had an opposite reaction to that particular line when I
Okay.
watched it last night, and it's this. Um, I thought, ooh, what an efficient way to remind everybody that Xander likes Buffy but knows she's not available so that the later scene makes sense.
Okay. Well, there you are reminding us of how you have to tell stories in a serial content, serial
Right.
form. Leave it to me to be worried about the cringiness of how you come off to your friends, but,
I mean, I think we're both right. I think we're
Yeah,
both right is the reality there
yeah,
because,
yeah,
the thing about it is that if I were actually in a situation with someone and I was saying something like that, I would unquestionably later on, be beating myself up because of how stupid I sounded, right?
yeah, and also, I will admit freely that I say things that are stupid to this day, but especially when I was 17 years old.
Yeah, sure.
All the time. The next day they're at school and they're doing some more, just kind of like catching us up on what's going on. And they're in school, and all of a sudden we see a character that we haven't seen in a while. It's Amy Madison, and if you remember, dear listener, she was the cheerleader whose mom was the witch, who is now still the witch's spirit is still in the trophy case, but she's that poor gal who was abused by her mother. And, there's this, like, teacher saying, "Everyone turn in your papers, and if you don't, if you don't hand me a paper, expect a failing grade." And Xander, I think, is funny because he's looking at a line sheet of paper. It's not typed, it's handwritten, and he goes, "Not this time. This time I could expect a good, like, D minus." Like, he's like he knows it's not good, but he's got something to turn in, darn it. And as they all line up to leave class and, do expositional stuff about what they're doing,
Right.
everybody has something to turn in except for Amy, and she just looks menacingly at the teacher, and then the teacher
Hmm.
acts like she takes something from Amy, but there's nothing. And Xander's standing right there. So again, okay, so when I told you I didn't like this episode, this is another case, which I'm sure you're gonna say, well, this is visually how you'd have to do it. But it was like, Amy, you're right in front of the guy. You're right in front of Xander. You could, I mean, it was in the open, very obvious. She's
Yeah,
working
sure.
magic for ill-gotten gain anyway.
Right.
And as they go away from there, Xander's wanting to tell Buffy and Willow, but they're talking and they have to scurry off. Right. That's right, right? I got that correct?
That is totally right. And and part of the scurrying away was, Xander saying, I think that Amy just used magic and but her mom's the witch and they had that whole conversation. Um
Yes.
Meanwhile, Cordelia has arrived at school and she runs
Mm.
into her frenemy, what do we want to call Harmony?
Yeah, and
Um
also it appears to me at times, like, in, like, this episode is one of the times where it appears like the power structure is different. Like,
yeah.
earlier on, Cordelia is queen bee, like, on top hardcore, and here we see
Uh-huh.
her, like, trying to win Harmony's approval a lot, and anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
I actually thought that that was fairly messy from a continuity perspective, exactly as you're intimating right now.
yeah.
Um, but again, 42 minutes, how do you communicate that how do you communicate that okay, here's the deal. Uh, in this episode, everyone is a static character except for Xander and Cordelia. By the time you get to the end of it, you got to have the change in Xander, which is, uh, okay, I'm okay with my lot in life, and you have to have the change in Cordelia, which is, no, I need to have I need to go with my instincts and be with the person that I want to be with as opposed to what my friends want me to do.
Mm.
Now, I've never sensed that Cordelia has a problem doing what her friends want her to do before. She definitely
Right.
has like a problem where she is what's the right way to say this? Um she gets things in her head that she thinks she's supposed to be doing, and then she finds out she's wrong. I'm reminded of like the frat boy episode, Reptile Boy or whatever.
Right.
Um but I haven't seen her feel the need to appease the popular crowd before because she is the popular crowd. So that rang false to me as well.
Right, but that's what's happening, and they're letting her know that they disapprove of her relationship with Xander. Right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's that.
Basically, she says, Cordelia shows up and she says, "Why didn't you call me back last night?" And Harmony gets the line where she says something back to the effect of, uh, I don't remember exactly how she phrased it, but somehow or another she got out this idea that Cordelia is dating a geek, and so they're not
Yes.
down with this.
Right, right, and it really does seem like to be an emotional and social blow to Cordelia by the look on her face. I think we cut from here, if I'm not mistaken, to catch us up on the other characters. Isn't this where we have an awkward encounter in the hallway? Giles is talking to Buffy and Willow, and maybe Amy might be nearby, but they run into one Miss Jenny Calendar.
That's exactly right. And we're
And it's been
reminded
weird.
that
It's been
Jenny
weird,
and
yeah.
yeah, we're reminded that Jenny and Giles are still on the outs. Gianni and the whole
Mm.
gang, I guess, are still in the outs.
Yeah, it seems as though Buffy just kinda gives her the everyone seems to not know how to behave. Buffy seems upset. Giles is like, that's the other thing. Buffy, do you have a moment? May I have a word? She goes, you may have a sentence if you like. It's kind of humorous. And he's clearly preoccupied and worried. And then when Miss Calendar says, "Do you have a moment?" He's like, "No, actually, I'm afraid I don't." So he doesn't change plans. He continues to stick with his commitment to saying to what he's got to say to Buffy. And that's where Giles then gives Buffy the news that Angelus or Angel, Dark Side Angel,
Yep.
uh, apparently has a tradition or penchant for being particularly cruel around Valentine's Day. And this is, for me, another plot problem, but whatever, we're going with it. He suggests she stays away indoors and hides away just because of how terrible he can be. And then he's gonna patrol in her behalf for about 2 or 3 days. And it's kind of like, I get what it's how that's trying to move the plot forward, but at the very same time, it's implausible to the characters because
Right.
Buffy is literally the only one who could handle Angel, and it may be threatening, and he may be scarier than other vampires, but there's no way that Giles can handle it, and it's not like he's gonna get stronger and more capable on Valentine's Day. It's just that
Right.
he's just psychotic. So, but maybe it's all. I mean, I know what it's doing. I know why it's there, and he's caring for her emotionally, and that's what it is. Um, yeah. Yeah, there we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, well, so then we cut to see
The dark
the
side of
visual
their
yeah. So we see Angel and Drew and Spike. And we get some firsthand experience of what Angel's cruelty on Valentine's Day can look like.
yeah, and I love it's, like they do all the time, the symmetry stuff. So,
Hmm.
whereas, you have Xander wanting to give Cordelia a heart necklace. Now we see Spike and is still bound to the wheelchair, slides a box across the table for Drew, and it is a silver necklace. Um, Meanwhile, Angel comes in from behind, and he has a different gift, and he rather reminded me of my pet cat or my pet dog. He brought her a heart, We have a cat sometimes that has been known to bring us dead voles and leave them on the
Sure.
doorstep, chipmunks, and baby copperheads.
Sure.
And the best dog psychologist, after years of talk therapy with the cats, have learned that what cats are doing this for is they think we need to eat, and they're being
Right.
kind. So anyway, he
Yes.
brings this to Angel, and Angel is throwing so much just shade, like he's being vicious towards Spike, and he puts the little necklace after insulting it around Drew's neck, and then Drew, to add insult to injury, tells Spike that Angel knows a way to a girl's heart.
Mm-hmm.
Looks down at her heart,
Mm-hmm.
but because Spike says, Angel, the only thing you really should worry about on Valentine's Day is, the bloody slayer. It's
Yeah.
his shtick. And anyway, that's what's going on there. But it's giving us more about this love triangle thing, the jealousy and their history a little bit, which is kind of cool. Also, I like where Angel says he found the heart
And a
instead of
quaint
like
little shop girl.
yeah, in a quaint little shop girl.
Yes.
That was a nice writing. I thought I enjoyed that.
Mm.
So that night they're at the Bronze, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, so now
And
we're at nighttime.
Willow's excited to tell people her boyfriend's in the band.
Yes, because that's the question they're asking in the schools.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to the dance at the Bronze? And yeah, Buffy goes, "Go ahead, Willow," and she goes, "My boyfriend's in the band." It's super cute,
Uh-huh.
as you said. But now they're at the
Right.
dance, and
Mm-hmm.
Xander's dressed really oddly to me,
Uh-huh.
and Cordelia's sitting alone by herself, and she's staring off. You can tell she's bothered. And as Xander comes up wearing a black suit, oversized suit with the collar sitting out over the top of it, sort of like the 90s neo swing style.
Yeah.
She's like, "Wow, you look great," which I thought he looked terrible. And like even in the 90s, I would have preferred what he normally wears, the oversized jeans
Sure.
and the Adidas All Stars and a long sleeve like knit shirt with a hookah necklace or whatever. But nevertheless, he says, "Buffy dressed me," which is just really funny. Buffy,
Yes.
she's like, "Excuse me, what?" He's like, well, not like literally, but she dressed me for this. And then they get into a little bit of a back and forth. And
Mhm.
does he awkwardly give her the necklace or just hand it to her? How does that go?
Uh, I felt like it was actually reasonably smooth with the exception of his talking, you know.
Yeah,
And
there you
and
are.
she
There you are.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
talking.
And then Cordelia responded to it really nicely. She was like, "Oh, that's actually really nice." And I think that she was shocked by this because she just assumed that he had terrible taste in all things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but while this is going on, Buffy did not go to the dance because of the recent breakup. Um, and so she stayed home with mom. And
Yeah, so
at the same
big
time, we have all
ouch.
this dance. Right, right, right. While we have all the stuff going on with the dance, basically we have some good scenes between her and Joyce and um uh at home and I don't know. I think that I to be honest with you, man, I wish we had more of Buffy's relationship with her mom being portrayed super positively. And I know that we have moments where it is, and there's probably a few here, but Joyce just doesn't seem like she's a fully constructed person to me at any point.
No, yeah, and I think that sometimes the writing just gets her to be on the show, like, or whatever. Like she's not. Yeah, it seemed like maybe this was an excuse to get the actress or the character back on the show, right? Like, oh, I got to stay at home
Yeah.
with mom, and she serves another comedic purpose later on. But I hear what you're saying. We only get glimpses, and if I'm going to defend it and be an apologist, I might say, well, maybe that's the perspective of a teenager,
Hmm. Hmm.
kind of like in Charlie Brown, whenever the parents or the adults talk, it's wah, 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 and you only see
Sure.
their legs, you never see them. But yeah, they're watching movies and eating junk food, and there's a noise at the front door, and Buffy goes, and immediately when she walked to the front door, I asked myself the question, did she ever do a spell or anything to reverse the invitation for Spike coming into her house? And I
For
don't know
Angel
the
coming
answer to
into her
that.
house.
or Angel, I mean, and I
Yeah, yeah.
don't remember. I still don't have the answer to that right now in my head. But that's the thing
She
I'm
hasn't. She
thinking.
hasn't. That's actually going to happen, I think,
Yeah,
in the next episode.
yeah, because otherwise it's a continuity issue. Because anyway,
Yeah.
so yes. Meanwhile, and she comes back and she turns around and Joyce is already gone. And she's not there, and you're expecting someone to be in the house. She meanders to the kitchen, and Joyce is outside coming back in and saying, "Somebody left these for you." And what was left for her? It was a big black box, wasn't it?
It
Um,
was, but it just had roses in it. I was expecting dead roses or something because I remember that being a thing at some point,
it's a
but it was
black
just regular.
box.
Yeah, but it was just
Yeah,
regular roses in a black box, and there was a note, and it said,
soon,
"Soon."
just
Yeah, yeah.
soon. Yeah, and it totally kind of haunts her, and this is supposed to be a lot of mind games from Angel or Angelus here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's happening where she is, and meanwhile, everyone else is having their time at the dance. I believe Amy's hanging out, but
Mhm.
Willow's having a great time watching Oz, and Xander's having his heart broken because not only is he having this exchange with Cordelia, but she chooses in that moment to break up with him.
Mhm. Mhm. You know
I
when's a good time to break up with someone? Any day other than Valentine's Day. That's what he says.
Right, right, yeah, and I
Have
thought
you ever
about
been broken
how,
up with on Valentine's Day, man?
no, maybe, I don't know, who's to say? It's never, if you don't wanna be dumped, it's never a good day, though.
Sure, sure, sure. That's
You
right.
know?
I
Yeah.
was dumped on Valentine's Day one time, and I
Oh,
remember it
really?
very, very keenly. Yes.
Oh, geez. Well, I did think about, like, what do you do? He just walks away after saying that. He could be,
Mhm.
like, petty and demand the necklace back, but I thought, "Oh, good
Mhm.
on him." He just walked away. Because what are you gonna do with the necklace, right?
Mhm.
The best case scenario is that you could take it back and get your money, but you're not gonna give it to a different girl, or maybe
Sure.
I know somebody who would do that, but I wouldn't do that. So anyway,
No, 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 sure.
so yeah, so he ends up like just walking away, feeling very bad.
Sure.
Um, yeah, yeah. So at this point, how do we get from here to the next day? Does it just start like in the next day? Um,
Yeah, we
at
pretty much just
school?
cut to the next
Yeah,
day. Like we basically have this downcast attitude from Xander, and then they recapitulate that, but it's the next day. Like we basically get
yeah.
the same face. It's one of those kind of cuts.
Yeah, that's
And
right. Because he's walking through
yeah,
school and
yeah.
people are like, "Way to get dumped," which is so
Well, then
weird.
then he goes up to Amy. That's who he's going
Mm.
to immediately is Amy.
Yeah, he goes to her and he basically is a lot of great witty, back and forth about blackmail. And he's like, "I am blackmailing you. I know you did magic. And I want you to do this love spell." And she's like, "I don't know. Like that's like serious business." And he goes, "You want me to like make her in love with you for all time and eternity?" He's like, "No, I just want revenge." And he goes, "No, but if you're asking for a love spell, like that's what you're asking for." Which I thought was sort of poignant because it's, in a world of teenage love,
Mhm.
Amy's trying to suggest in a, albeit in a rather enchanted, magical way, that it's not what you really think love is. Like love isn't like, haphazard. Love isn't something you walk away from. Like whether I agree with their definition of love or not is not the point. But like I thought that was interesting because she's showing a deeper side, and but he has her over a barrel with blackmail. And so they go do magic in the only place you can do magic in a high school, a science lab. And it's kind of humorous because Xander is
Yes.
sitting shirtless with a bunch of paint on him. It's kind of funny. And she's calling out to, the Greek goddess Diana, right? Is it,
Mhm.
is it Greek? Yeah. God of war and love, and doing all this, woo woo stuff they made up.
Yep.
And she puts the necklace in, and the whole point was to make Cordelia really, really into Xander so he could reject her publicly.
Mhm.
That's the point, right? That's what he
Yeah, yeah.
wants.
You know though we skipped over one idea that I want to bring up because I think it's important.
Sure.
is Xander had to go back to Cordelia and ask for the necklace back.
Oh, yes, that's right. She needed something. Yeah, yeah, because that very, very funny and sad sort of request.
Yeah, yeah, and what I thought was really good in this particular scene, this might be the best little bit of visual storytelling they did, was Xander knows that he needs a personal item of hers in order to do this magic. And I don't know why he's thinking the necklace that he just gave her last night is going to be a personal item, but whatever. I guess it's the thing he knows that he can get back from her because he can be a jerk about it. You know, hey, you
Right.
just broke up with me right after I gave you this thing. But the when he goes to her and says, "Hey, I want the necklace back," she goes, "Fine, it's in my locker." She tells him that he's a jerk for wanting it back. But when she goes to her locker to get it, we see that she's actually wearing it and has it hidden under her blouse. And and I think that that was meant to let us know that even though she's broken up with him, she's still really into him.
Yeah. She has I have seen this. I mean, I have seen this and felt it before uh where maybe it's not even just kids, maybe I've seen it in adult life where people will literally allow themselves to be influenced by other people's opinions and even in romantic situations. It's sort of awful, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, it's
Well,
that necklace. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, so yeah, I think okay, we have not defined the theme of this episode. And part
We
of the reason that
haven't.
we haven't is because I'm not sure I got it. I'm not sure I have the language for it.
I'm with you. I'm holding it in the back of my mind that we haven't yet done that. Do you have any
Well,
how
okay,
about this? Do you have any thoughts? And maybe we can whittle it down as we go.
okay, okay. So obviously it's a Valentine's Day episode, number one.
Yeah,
Number
right.
two, it's obviously something about love and the nature thereof.
Mhm.
Um, number three, it's definitely about um this character arc that we've been talking about with where Cordelia is going from being manipulated by her friends to trying to be her own person. And and I think that this manipulation thing might have something to do with it because Xander turns around and tries to manipulate her as well, but ends up only manipulating every other female on the planet.
Yeah. Let me try a stab at it right here. Here I'm gonna I
Okay,
think I think this might be one of the first inductive episodes we've had. Now, let me talk about the difference between a deductive form of communication and an inductive one. And
please.
this is something that the way I think about it, I learned from like public speaking. So in a deductive sort of presentation, I would say like I'm going to talk to you about love. And then I'm going to tell you about love, and then I'm going to tell you, it's the tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them, right? But you're setting the premise, the thesis out at top, right? Or I could say, I'm going to talk to you about love. Love is not an emotion, but a verb. And then the rest of the thing I'm doing is trying to prove that to you.
Sure, sure.
Inductive. So it's like a funnel. The funnel starts sort of narrow, like this is what we're talking about, and then you expand on it the whole way through. Inductive is the opposite, like, the funnel starts large and you work your way down to it.
Right.
It's more narrative driven, it's sometimes more it has a lot of questions into it, but, like, when you start talking, the audience may not 100% know what your main point is, but hopefully by the very end, you've worked your way there, and it can be, in some ways, more entertaining because people are discovering it as they go.
Hmm.
It can also be more difficult to have for clarity. Like, some people might end up not getting the point. I
Sure.
don't kn so like you say, a lot of times we have the theme or the thesis put right up top.
Right.
Maybe this is an episode where we don't. Maybe it whittles its way down, and what I'm getting to is my theory might be, if I'm so bold,
Hmm.
that, uh, if you could say something like, the difference between love and something that seems like love but isn't, uh, is obsession, right? Like, the difference between love and obsession,
Sure.
or
Sure.
what
Sure.
people often mistake for love is obsession. And I could say that within the total Buffy verse overall, I think that they will actually get at a rather ancient, classical, and Christian understanding of love, where love
Hmm.
is not purely emotive, but love is a self-giving act or a self-giving act of service or gift. Um, and I,
I think you're really onto something right now, because
okay.
not only do I just think that it's a good idea and that all makes sense to me and that's all very clarifying, but in addition to that, I think that the whole love versus obsession thing um, is um, is further clarified in the next episode,
Ah, okay. Okay,
which
well, we'll
is
have to get I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
even know what it is, we'll have to get to it,
okay.
but I thought when Giles said that, "You're not talking. This
Mm,
isn't about love, this is about obsession."
mm-hmm,
I thought, like, when he said that, I thought, "Ooh, that landed pretty hard." So,
mm-hmm.
because what we're saying, dear listener, is that Giles does in fact Amy does in fact produce a love charm, but what we find out in the next scene is it doesn't really work. Xander shows up on the scene expecting to go over to Cordelia and for him to, like, wound and or swoon and,
Yeah.
like, just, fall all over him, and she's
Mm-hmm.
with her friends, her little crew, and they all are just like, "Why are you even standing here? What? Can we help you?" And she is just absolutely like, "You're pathetic." Like, she doesn't
Mm-hmm.
pay him any
Stalker much?
interest. Yeah, stalker much, right. And he gets mad, and he heads back toward the library, and Giles is
Yes.
in a conversation with Buffy, and as Giles turns his back, Buffy's like, all of a sudden, sort of flirting with him, and then, "Hey, how about what we do is you just come over to you and me spend some alone time together." At first, you think you're not 100% sure whether or not, like, it's just an invitation from a friend or not, but then you're like, "Wait, why alone?" And then you're like, "Was that appropriate? Like, would that be a good idea?" And you're like, "Oh." And then she starts laying it on her super fit thick, super quick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of the comedy, like, but morality comes out too, because there are all these points where Xander just wants what Buffy is selling and offering,
Yep. Yep.
but he's like, but not under these circumstances. And
Right.
it's cringy and funny, and it's all of it. It's all those things.
Absolutely. And then we really begin understanding what's happening, because Amy walks in and she's, even though she casts the spell, she's super into him.
Yes, she's into him. And then wait, is that when Jenny Candler comes in? I mean, it's fun for the actors, I think. One after the other gets to play it, but Jenny Calendar's, like, talking to Giles, and she touches Xander's arm. "Oh, have you been working out?" And then she starts getting all
Yeah.
hot and bothered, and then
Yes.
Giles is like, "Oh my
Yes.
gosh." He's like, "Just stay in the library," and he tries to barricade the door, but you can, walk into the library the other I mean,
Right, right,
it's
right.
just ridiculous. So, he ends up, like, fleeing, and he goes home,
He goes to
and
Willow's house.
is that
Oh,
Willow's
no,
house or his house?
oh, I guess that's his house and she's
It's
there. It's his
it's his
house and
house,
she's
and
there. You're
she's
right.
in his
You're right.
bed, and she's like, "We've slept together before." He's like, "We were in, like, hoodie footy pajamas, basically." And it's really, and she's like, "Well, don't worry about Oz. Oz is cute, but you're something else, right?"
Right.
And yeah, so he's had all forms, and yeah, he's in for it. So somehow the spell has backfired, and it's cast every other woman in the known world, or on the Hellmouth at least, to be
At least in the
uh
Hellmouth, yeah.
obsessed with Xander, and they want him. Yeah, there you go.
I think that it has something to do with his proximity. Like, I don't think that the women know of him until he's there, and then when he's there, they're into it.
Mm.
That seems to be the gag. What I really liked was when he's walking down the hallway and he's clearly being oogled by all the girls. Um, the boys are looking at him with this like disdain, this like these ugly faces or whatever, and that
Yeah,
just cracked me up, because somehow they know
right.
that all the girls are checking him out, and so they are totally not happy about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is where, like, that drama just kinda it's not complicated, it just gets really going a lot. So back at school, somehow he's back at school. I don't even know how it happens, but they're back at school, and he's with
Well,
Cordelia,
so
and people
here's the deal.
yeah.
Here's the deal. The Ginny Calendar scene actually doesn't happen until after the Willow scene.
Right.
So he when he comes back to school after the Willow scene and he sees all the girls checking him out, he finally understands what's happening. That's when he goes to Giles and says, "Hey, I think I messed up. I tried to cast this love spell," and Giles berates him and basically says, you don't know what you're doing. Why would you have done something this reckless? And that's when Ginny comes in and Giles realizes the extent of it because of Ginny's reaction to him. That's what's going
You're,
on.
you're right. You're right. And that's where, this isn't love, it's obsession. He gets angry with him, sends him away. And now Giles is going to try to break the spell with like a fawning Amy and a Jenny. And it's like,
Right.
he's basically messing with toddlers. Like they're like toddlers. Like he's herding cats. There's no like control over the situation. And Xander tries to get free. And he finds Cordelia. And Cordelia's like, what is going on? And they begin to run away. And this is another continuity weird, like this is where pacing is wrong.
Okay,
Go ahead.
wait.
Go ahead.
Before you get there, let me let me be clear about one other thing. So before he goes to find Cordelia, this is actually when the second Buffy scene happens. The first Buffy scene that you were referring to earlier, she's wearing this like white shirt. Well, right after the Ginny Calendar scene, when Xander's trying to hide away, Buffy shows up basically wearing like a black. I don't even know what to call it. It's like a
Yeah, it's like it's a small trench coat. I mean, it's very
small trench
small.
coat.
She's
Okay,
not wearing anything under it.
so that's when they have the whole conversation about all the crazy stuff you were talking about a minute ago.
That's right.
And while they're in the process of this, and Xander says, I want this so much, but not this way. That's when we actually get the dramatic turn of us understanding that this could go badly for him, because now Buffy's mad. What do you mean? Are you playing with me? Why would you do such a thing? She's angry. And about that moment, that's when Amy shows up. And Amy, um,
She's yeah.
yeah, yeah.
She's attracted too, right? And it makes
Yeah,
Buffy mad.
right. And so then they have a little bit of a fight where, Buffy punches Amy, but then Amy just basically turns around and turns Buffy into a rat, and Buffy scurries
Right.
away.
Thank you.
Um,
I don't
and
know.
then
I
and then
remember all that all when you say it, but I'm like, I guess it was watching it at 4 this morning where I'm like,
Oh
yeah,
man,
let's
no, no,
get,
no,
yeah,
no, 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 no.
yeah,
It's the I'm actually so that you know that I'm not like super invested in knowing every single situation about how this works. I actually have the episode up on my screen, and so I'm kind of thumbing through it as we talk so that I make sure that I'm not missing anything. Um,
Do you hear that? He's cheating, everybody.
I'm cheating.
Performance enhancing drugs.
That's
Anyway.
me. That and AI. Um, okay, so now he goes and he finds Cordelia, but all the other girls are totally pissed off at Cordelia because she's hurt Xander.
Oh yeah. How dare you hurt our schmoopy? Yeah. And so they're
Mm-hmm.
all turning. Yeah, it's now like becoming what Giles
Mm-hmm.
says it's gonna be. Like this could be violent. It could be scary. Now the Slayer's a rat. Um, another thing is that Xander is looking for the rat, looking for Buffy as the rat. He's on his
Yeah.
hands and knees. He gets cold cocked in the face by
Oz.
Oz, and he's kind of like, "Hey, I just got off the phone with Willow saying a bunch of stuff I don't understand, but it sounds like you upset her, and so I thought I should hit you." And he's like, "Kind of hurt." Xander's like, "Yeah, it hurt." And but meanwhile, it's really dry and funny. But meanwhile, so Giles gets Oz on board with helping out looking for the rat. So that sets Oz creeping around the school away from the crowds of, the throngs of women looking,
Mm-hmm.
following this rat. And now they're all like a pack of rats. All the women are like a pack of rats on Xander,
Right.
who is the cheese. And he's got Cordelia and they begin to run away. Now, this is all school time, right? They're all at school. We can agree on this.
Yes.
This is school. When they
Yep.
leave the school and run down the sidewalk, you tell me what time of day it is.
Oh, it was daytime, but now it looks like it is early evening or
Oh,
getting closer to night. Yeah,
it's dark, dude. It's like they're at school and now they're out of school. And it's like totally, I told you pacing, man. Like it just threw me off because it's like, wait, now vampires can be out.
Oh, it is.
Well, that's the whole point.
It is totally. I'm thumbing to it now. It is totally dark. But they had to get away from school for it to be that. When they leave school, it's looking a little bit darkish. It's getting to evening, but by the time they get to Buffy's house, that's where he's running.
Yeah.
Um, it's definitely nighttime. You know though, okay, that makes no sense for Southern California, but I will say that I lived in Providence for a minute. By a minute, I mean 3 years,
Yeah.
and that's definitely how it was there. Like it used to drive me nuts. It'd be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and everything would be bright and sunny, and by 4 o'clock it would be pitch black.
Well, okay. That's what we
But
have here. That's what we have here. And so he's
yeah,
like, let's go to Buffy's house. So they go into, and it's the only reason to go there is just to have the
mhm,
comedic moment where where Xander's going to get hit on by Joyce.
yes,
And she sends Cordelia upstairs for a band-aid as she begins to massage Xander's back and start to come on to Xander. And it creates this little back and forth between them. And yeah, and that's just I feel like that's the entire reason to have Joyce on this episode, just to make this
hmm
happen, right?
I do know.
Uh,
I do know, by the way, that the young lady who plays Joyce, I don't remember her name. uh
Christine Summers or something like that.
Christine, yes, yes, yes. Um, by the end of season three, she requested to just, be written off the show because she felt like she wasn't getting any good acting bits in it, and just wanted to go on and do other things. I'm certain that by that point, she'd already made whatever money she wanted to make from it, and she was just interested in going on to do other things. And Whedon actually had to talk her into staying around because he wanted to kill her off in season five.
Which is great, which we'll talk about when we get there. But we
Yeah,
we always say
when
The
we get there.
Body's a great episode. We all know it.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, yeah, okay. So now we have the whole like school of women infesting Joyce's and Buffy's house, and it becomes chaos. Chaos is reigning. They run upstairs and into Buffy's room. The first thing I notice as they go into her room is that the front door or the window to Buffy's room is just open, like it's permanently open. As odd and dangerous as that is, no screen to keep animals
Right,
out, but
right,
just
right.
open. But all of it serves so that Angel can stick his half of his body in to grab Xander out the window
Yes, yes,
and
yes,
and
yes.
take him
Now
down.
I
And
got I
there's
got I got I got to make a comment here. I got to make a comment here.
you do it.
So,
You do it.
so, so when Angel reaches in, I don't remember exactly what he says in the moment, but thanks to you, all I heard was the Boston accent when he says it.
Jersey. It's Jersey, I think. But yeah, yeah, yeah,
Jersey
yeah.
accent. Thank you.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yo, right, Spike, Buffy. Yeah, so he gets him down. He's all vamped out, and the cool part is like whatever he does, and I wanted to go back and watch this, see who this if I could tell it was a stunt guy, but he like just tosses Xander like with the one arm, and he does like a whole flip in the yard,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, oh, I wanted to do stuff to Buffy, but this is the next best thing, and he's gonna kill him. He's gonna devour him. And then Angel gets like tossed, right? Like he
Mhm.
flies through the air. And my first thought, because I don't remember this episode, like it's been years. My first
Sure,
thought was this is a Kendra Ek Machina. This is going to be Kendra the Vampire Slayer coming in. Because who could do it? Buffy is a rat. You know,
sure.
no one else has the power. And who is it? It's
It's true.
Drusilla.
Yeah.
Because Drusilla's on the Hellmouth and she has gotten the spell. And so she
And now
wants to
she's into Xander too. That's
she's a
right.
Xander, which is hilarious. I mean, it's just
Uh-huh.
delightful to me. She's all vamped out. She's like, "Oh, my pet." And so that's
Don't
what's
harm one
happening.
hair on this boy's head. Angel's
It's
like, you gotta be kidding me.
right. I did notice that Angel wasn't like he wasn't going to dominate Drusilla. I mean, maybe she's more powerful in some way when she's powerful. I don't know. But yeah, so where do we go from there? Because somehow Xander gets free, right? Where how does
Well,
he get
okay,
free
so
from?
the mob of women show up at Buffy's house. And by the way, when I say mob, they're angry now because they realize that Xander doesn't want them. So they're willing to kill him
So
so
no
that nobody
one.
else can have him. And they're literally rushing the house with axes. Well, I'm not talking pitchforks, man. I'm talking like full on
Yeah, well,
full-size axes.
let's pause for a moment and talk about Willow, because Willow's standing there. Allison Hannigan, who's the actress, is holding the
Yeah.
axe, and she's like, "If I can't have you, then I've wanted this, wanted you our whole life, basically." And she's got tears. Very affecting, very
Mhm.
effective. She looks legitimately heartbroken. You're right. They come in. It is very similar to the old trope of Frankenstein's monster
Yeah,
being chased
right.
by the people with fires and the pitchforks and all that.
And by the
Uh,
way, Willow is not the only axe in the crowd. Like if you look through it, there are at least 3 other girls who have axes, which is
right.
hilarious to me on one hand, and on the other hand, that's like if that were happening in real life, I think I'd be pretty scared too.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I have an axe to grind with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
So I guess in all that melee, Xander is able to be freed, and he gets Cordelia, and they run to the basement, and he begins to try to barricade them in, which you'll find out in a moment later that the door is a pull open door, not a push open door.
Yeah, yeah,
So
right.
all his barricades don't work. So this is the second time he tries to barricade doors in the episode that you don't push, but you pull open,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't like, was kind of funny. I don't know if you noticed that, but
No,
it's just sort
I
of,
did notice that, and I think that the whole
uh,
like what am I trying to say here? When I first got interested in Buffy, it's because we've talked about this before. It's because of the episode Hush, and we'll talk about it when we get there.
yeah.
But one of the first things that really cracked me up in that episode were all of the ways in which they were playing with how uh, how doors worked, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about it in that episode then. I think this might be when they started thinking about that as a comedic idea for later on.
Right, right. There's some really interesting dialogue between Cordelia and Xander there as they are protecting
Yes.
themselves, and it really does a number for Cordelia. What was said? I can't recall right now. Do you remember?
Well, it's
Or what's the
something to this
essence of it?
effect. Something to this effect. What basically is said is, uh, Cordelia is like, "Why is everyone gone crazy?" Xander basically says, "Well, I cast this love spell," and Cordelia's like, "Oh, you're that desperate? Well, guess what? It worked." And he's like, No, I was trying. It
Right.
didn't. It backfired. I was trying to get, I was trying to cast a love spell on you, and and that's when Cordelia sort of understand, the weight of the entire situation sort of dawns on her. It's that um Xander was trying to get her to love him, and in typical fashion, he messed it up, and now they have this life-threatening situation. But the fact that he cared enough to try to win her back by whatever means necessary, I think, um plays with her effectively. I'm not sure that would work in real life. Like
Hmm.
I think that if you I think that in my experience, whenever you are communicating with um someone that you have affection for, and you confess to that level of desperation, um that never goes well.
Yeah. Not typically, but it was the point is that it was sweet. Thanks for being
Right.
sweet and caring
Sure.
for me. And they get the door gets blown open, ripped apart, and they are downstairs in the basement, and now it's like a huddle of people on top of them trying to claw their way after them.
Right. Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, yeah, meanwhile,
Giles and Amy are trying to break both spells. The spell for the love spell, and the Buffy is a rat spell.
meanwhile, Buffy as Rat is in the basement, and she is dangerously close to a rat trap or a mouse trap with a piece of cheese on
Mhm.
it. So she is the literal rat on the cheese.
Mhm.
And all is happening at the same time, so that the first spell happens and Buffy is in full form, and she ends up standing up behind some strategically placed boxes
Right.
because she's fully nude. And that's when Oz is standing there basically like,
Yeah, he'd
shocked
been
to see
looking
her.
for her, and now he found her.
Yeah. Yeah, he found all of her. And she's like, "That's unexpected to be in the nude," whatever she said. And she's like, "Can you go get me some clothes?" He's like, "Yeah." It's just a kind of comedic moment. And
Yes.
and yeah, there we are. There's that. I don't even know what to say about it except for it's one of like the rare times, I guess, in the show when Buffy was that sexually aggressive earlier on
Right.
under the spell and that like unrobed, if you will, and she's, hidden behind a box,
I
but
seem to be having a slight case of nudity here.
right, that's right.
But you're not a rat. But you're not a
But you're
rat.
not a rat. I thought that was a good line too. Yeah, I was
Yeah, yeah.
a case of nudity here. Uh, so yeah. Anyway, that happens first, and then the second spell is broken and lifted. And again, the only place to do spells in high school is a science lab
It's
with
the science
beakers
lab. Yeah.
and Bunsen burners. And there they are, boom, it's broken, and now all these girls and women are like, wow, how'd I get here? What's going on?"
Uh-huh.
And they're all like, "Oh, let's get out of here. And then it's like a jump cut from that to the next day where, you it's always great. You never get the immediate fallout for how people are gonna make sense of this chaos, but it's the
Sure.
next day. "We're gonna tell everyone how we made sense of it." And Buffy's like, "Yeah, mom's pretty okay. She's still kinda confused. I think she's playing that up though, basically. I think mom doesn't
Mhm.
want to remember that she was coming on to
Right.
my friend." And, that's when we find out that they do remember because Buffy remembers what she
Right.
said to Xander and what Xander said to her, and it's kind of direct about it, and they're
Mhm.
honest with each other, but she's appreciative of him for not taking
Yeah, not
advantage.
taking advantage of the situation. That's exactly right. But then she says that the whole situation was worse for Willow than anyone else because she loved you,
Yeah.
Xander, before anyone else noticed you, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and
then Buffy talks about her sudden need for cheese, which by the way, comes up in future episodes.
oh, really?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, yeah, like, that's the episode in a nutshell, and
Mhm.
I think you're right. I think if that's the metaphor, it's less
Well,
easily
okay,
defined.
there's one more scene. There's one more
Oh,
scene, and
oh,
it's
yeah.
the final scene. And what happens is Cordelia is walking down the hallway with her with her gaggle of friends. And the gaggle of friends run into Xander and they're rude to him.
Mm.
And Cordelia kind of uh takes Xander's side, calls her friend Harmony a sheep, and that she shouldn't be worried, and that Cordelia shouldn't be worried about what Harmony thinks because she's not a sheep. She's way cooler than Harmony because she's not a sheep. And so she's going to walk away from her friends and walk with Xander. And I think that this is sort of the pivotal moment of the entire episode. I think that this is the moment of clarity, the moment of change for Cordelia that we've been looking for. I think it's as close to a thematic moment as we get in this one. To your point, it sort of summarizes at the end as opposed to being summarized at the beginning. Um, and I think that and Cordelia doesn't know if she's making a good decision or a bad decision in this moment. But she has made her decision, and I think that that's the important part.
You're right, and, I can't believe I forgot about that, but there's this interesting little bit about, we're probably gonna be fighting all the time, and Xander's like, "So what?" Right? Right.
What they say is something to the effect of, and I'm not looking at this right now. They say something to the effect of, uh, Xander says, "Well, if it makes you feel better, whenever we're around your friends, we can fight more." And she goes, "You promise?"
Right. Yeah. So, that's the episode. You like it a little more than I do. I like
Yes.
the humor. The other things sort of just annoyed me a little bit, but I take the point of it anyway, and that's fine. Um, I think that is as we go forward thematically and sort of on a deeper level, I think they do a really good job of separating out what real sort of love is from obsession,
Mhm.
affection, interest, infatuation, and I think it goes pretty deep.
Mhm.
And even with uh, addiction, having to do with magic and Willow later on versus like more like self-giving sort of love in magic. I think this stuff plays out throughout. So I think the Whedonverse does that, or at least the Buffyverse does that pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. All the way around. Well, our next episode is called Passion.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
it's and that's why I was saying earlier that I think that you're right about this episode, and I think that this is actually setting the stage for the
Okay.
next episode where we really see how Angel deals with his feelings.
Okay. Well, until then, I think I have a need for cheese. So, all right.
Good.
Take care, my friend.